Welcome to Isn't It Obvious, where things are obvious. That's going to be the intro.
That's going to be the intro forever now.
Right.
All right, welcome to Isn't It Obvious. I'm your host, Sera. I'm here with Phil and Micah. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
I hate you guys so much. Anyway, all right. Phil, you just the worst. All right. You know, it's that time of year, right? So isn't it obvious that 30-day challenges are kind of waste of time? Those, 30-day, dry January. It's stupid. Whole 30. Fucking stupid. 30 days of yoga. Stupid. What is the point? What is the point?
It's a constant check of where we are actually at in terms of us dedicating ourselves to something that is outside of our comfort zone.
No.
I honestly don't know why 30-day challenges exist, because it's not going to work out the way that they... I mean, okay, I could be wrong, but for me, one of my coworkers gave me a book called The Power of Habit, where... he was selling me on this book, and I read halfway through it, and because I don't really read very often, I got kind of burnt out. Anyway, the first half was very interesting, and they talked about how the makers of Febreze, they couldn't get it to fucking sell because it worked too well. And the problem is that people formed a habit when they use a fragrance to cover something. They like the smell of it, and then they're like, oh, it's working. But Febreze worked well without the scent. The idea of it was that it was able to get rid of the odor without adding some fruity mountain spring water scent to it. And so people didn't get that little dopamine hit that said, oh, it worked. They're like, whatever. And then they just stopped using it because the power of habit is, come on, you just constantly do this. You're expecting this. This is what you're going to do. And they say that in that book, they're like, well, it's not really motivation that gets you through something. You're going to be bound to fucking fail if you go through that approach. Because motivation might be good for a few days, but then you're going to run out of steam. And then what's going to carry you is going to be discipline.
Yeah.
And then what's really going to carry you after discipline fails, because it will, is habit. You just do it because your body is stupid and you just realize you're not even doing it. You don't even realize you're doing it. You just do it because you're a creature of habit. Mm-hmm. And so these 30-day challenges are so, I agree with you. What is the point here? Because so after 30 days, when you just started to develop the habit of it, you're like, oh, I'm done. And
you're not even developing a habit. You're exercising.
It doesn't take that long to develop a habit.
That's all you're doing.
It takes 2 weeks to develop a habit. It is not difficult for a human being to develop a habit.
I think it takes more than 2 weeks. Unless it's a complicated, if it's a simple habit, maybe 2 weeks. But if it's a complicated habit, if you're doing say Whole30, for example, that's a whole diet change. That's a whole, you have to buy certain things and you have to make things a certain way. You can't just, there's no added sugar. There's all these fucking rules. It's complicated. You're never going to develop a habit that way. You can discipline yourself for 30 days. But as soon as that 30-day ends, you're just going to go right back to what you were doing before. This is not
Not necessarily.
Well,
so
yeah,
even through, taking the Whole30 as an example, or 30 days of yoga, if you complete that cycle, some changes in life will be made. Because you had a month of something that was outside of that. Not all of it might stick, but you might buy less McDonald's because you know you can make something that's just as good at home for a slightly less price, because it's just a bunch of veggies that you throw in a stir fry with soy sauce and add rice. And that's just something you didn't do before.
I doubt that. I don't know anyone who has decided of their own volition to maintain after 30 days the level of discipline that they work for.
No, but if some of that changes, then that's still a benefit for that individual.
Is it though? Because if you're not dedicating your energies to subscribing to that philosophy or whatever you're trying to do, that defeats the purpose of it.
If you take Whole30, where you make all of your meals at home and you only deal with natural ingredients and you're not adding in a whole bunch of extra stuff, at the end of that, if you consume less sugars, but also just preservatives.
Are you really doing better, though?
I hate that I'm spacing on the word.
I doubt it.
If you're eating more actual food, I think that's better for a diet than eating so much stuff that's already pre-made with extra salt and stuff so it'll survive the freezing process.
You can do that without subscribing to that Whole30 philosophy. You can have things that are, organic grown or natural, but there's other choices you can make that, Whole30 is very strict. But I'm thinking of Lent, for example, where people give up a bad habit for the month. And I'm just saying,
that's dealing with religious guilt. That's crap.
Or dry January, because people are like, oh, the holidays, I drank way too much and I need to, take a month off of drinking alcohol. Or juice detoxes, where they take a month where they just sort of drink lots of juices. And I'm like, you're not doing anything good. In fact, fact, you're upsetting your metabolism. You're breaking up your body's what it's used to, and you're just completely slamming it into a brick wall, changing your habits. You're not...
I don't know about you, but I love diarrhea.
It's just, I don't know.
It's such a sense of accomplishment when you're done.
Is it?
And this episode is brought to you by Popeyes.
Sub-sponsored by Depends.
Okay.
I just think these 30-day challenges are kind of pointless. I mean, like, if you're doing it just to make yourself, oh, like, look, I did a thing for 30 days, hooray, and then move on with your life, that's one thing. But if you're trying to change your habits, it's a waste of time.
Ego plays into it.
May I ask you this question about your thoughts on 5K training, or like, let's go a step away from diets and let's go to like a 30-day
couch to 5K.
Couch to 5K. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Because it does, I think those couch to 5Ks are like 30 days-ish, plus or minus.
Yeah, it's like a 4-week system.
Sure. Okay, so somewhere around that ballpark.
You have to train for a marathon. If you want to run a marathon, then that's your goal. You need to train for it.
Okay.
But this is not a marathon. This
5K.
is just a 5K.
Okay, fair enough.
It's 2 miles.
Yeah, okay, so you don't have to train very long to complete a 5K. That's true. But say like you want to run a 30K or a 60K. You need to train for that. You can't just be like, I'm going to run 30 miles. I'm going to run 30K. I'm going to run 60K. Yeah, like, you're going to destroy your body that way if you just decide one day to sign up for that. Like, you do need to train.
But starting with the couch to 5K.
Yeah, starting with couch to 5K is a very similar premise that you can get to I guess the beginner level of jogging for fun, I guess. But for some reason, people like to do it in a group, and when there's like a start and end. And in this case...
But that's a set goal.
It's a set goal, right? Like, it's a 30-day, I would say challenge, but a premise to be able to get you to to jog or run or walk a 5K. All those things are good stuff. What are your thoughts on this? Because it does have a very similar endish feeling. After 30 days or ballparkish, you're going to be done with this thing and off you go. You don't have to do it anymore. Do you think it's similar enough an analogy, or do you think
I would say it is similar enough. The difference, I guess, I see in this particular example would be there is an end goal that you are setting for yourself that you personally want to complete.
And that's different from Whole30 how?
Well, what's the end goal for Whole30?
To eat healthy and see what messes with your body, because you slowly introduce different types of food back into your diet.
Okay, fair. If you're trying to figure out what is going on, like if you have like something's upsetting you, then yes, doing that, maybe that's a good way to do it. Because you have a goal in mind for that. If you're just doing it because it sounds like a fun challenge, or you're just doing it because if that's the goal, then that's worth doing. But if you're just doing it arbitrarily, just every once in a while for just the hell of it, like, I don't understand the point of it, especially if you do it more than once.
So what's worse, that type of challenge or like that stupid ice bucket challenge?
Oh, jeez.
Remind me again what the ice...
People would dunk themselves in ice water and, hey, I did the ice bucket challenge, now I'm challenging you 3 to go do it, and apparently raise money for charity somehow. Well, I don't know. I'm very fuzzy on the details.
Okay, so if you're doing ice bucket challenge or like polar plunge or something, like you're doing something kind of silly to raise money for a cause, that's different. That's a different thing. You're doing that one thing to try to benefit other people or something. That's a totally different thing. I'm thinking like dry 30 or dry January after New Year's, because you're like, I just, holiday, whatever, and I'm going to just give up drinking for a month. Okay, but you could just slow down. Like, you don't have to totally, unless it's like really, you just can't handle your alcohol, and that's a totally different story, and then you probably should just be dry, period. Not this 30-day thing. This should be a life choice that you make to just stop instead of, well, I'm going to do it for 30 days.
Okay, what is your thought on the fact that people don't accomplish 30 days? Is that so how many people actually accomplish the 30 days of their goal or the challenge?
Probably a good number.
A good number would say, look, I'm going to say, let's say 80% is a good number. That's a solid B.
It'd be like probably average. Let's go with 75%. I don't really know.
Wow. A C? Americans stopped drinking for all of January and you're giving them a 70%
I don't know. I don't
Jeez,
know.
That is
I
so
honestly
optimistic.
couldn't tell you. I don't subscribe to like these 30-day challenges, clearly, because I have no I just don't.
We're from the country that made Fireball whiskey, where it was whiskey added with sugar, because you need more sugar in your whiskey.
Okay, obviously, yes, and that's a great idea. And also, no, I mean, not just on dry challenges, but like couch to 5Ks or, eating healthier or 30 days of yoga. Like
doing something like exercising, whatever, yeah.
Right. Like, I think there's one that's like a 5 a.m. class for swimming or something, like, I'm going to do this for 30 days. I always wanted to, be that type of person that can wake up early and swim a couple laps or something.
I always wanted to get up before sunrise.
Yeah, for 30 days, and then just try out a new way of living. Just for 30 days, though. I'm not committing to this.
No, but I want to be able to say, yep, I did it for 30 days. And how many people do you think actually accomplish those 30 days? And is that your beef with this?
The fact that it's successful?
I honestly don't know how many people complete it. I think it's easy to just say, I'm going to set aside a month to choose to try out a new lifestyle, to make habit changes. I feel like there's enough people with enough discipline that they could probably get through a month. They might have a few cheat days.
Sera, of the people you know, how many people do you think could do that? Of all the people
all the people I know? Oh, probably
Who do you think has the discipline?
I know a pretty broad group of friends and family members. I'd say
how many of them would change their lifestyle for a month and have the discipline to maintain that lifestyle for a month?
For a month, I would say probably a little over half.
Wow.
I have some pretty, like they will do these things and they will make a lifestyle change. They can do that for a month. I don't think they can do it for a year, though. I really honestly do not think they have the discipline to make some of these changes that they're experimenting with as a lifestyle change that they are just going to make a habit. I really don't.
So of that 55%,
which is what my beef is, really.
that could do it, is it dumb of them to try?
I think my beef with it is that they have this...
It's the cultiness.
It is. It's partly the cultiness. I really don't like the cultiness. I think that's really what it is. No, I don't like that this big deal out of, I'm going to try a new lifestyle out. And then they do it, they complete it, and then they just sort of put their, little benchmark in, they put their bookmark in and they shut the book on that lifestyle that they just it didn't work, I don't want to make that part of my life now. I did it, it's done, that's my accomplishment, and they feel good about it, but I'm just, but what was the point of it? Okay, so you ate healthy for a month, or, okay, so you gave up drinking for a month. In the grand scheme of things, what did that really do for you ultimately?
Is that not an accomplishment if that person taking that dry January thinks that alcohol might have a greater sense of importance on their life than they're willing to admit to?
If they come out of that 30 days changed, then maybe.
They may still drink, but they have a greater appreciation of it because they knew they could go through that month of not
but
drinking.
A greater appreciation, does that change their behavior? That's what I'm getting at. You can have a philosophical, awakening. You can have an epiphany or something, but, if it doesn't change your behavior, kind of meaningless.
I see. So long run, if it doesn't really do any course correction at all within the year time frame.
So, it was a fun experience. You can put that in your little file of, yay, I did a thing. How fun was that? And then move on.
But why are you diminishing that level of confidence? If someone feels they have an issue with alcohol and they go 30 days without drinking, even if they go back to drinking, that 30 days is not an irrelevant month to them.
No.
They went 30 days
but it's an
without
irrelevant
drinking,
month
and they thought
to
it
their
was a problem.
behavior and to everyone else who has to deal with their alcoholic tendencies if they are disrupted.
Yes, but every journey begins with just a step.
What?
Every journey begins with a step.
Okay,
right? That 30 days might wean them off. That might give them the courage to turn sober.
Okay, but setting an arbitrary number just do it for a month, that is my problem.
Why should we have 50 people on board?
Don't set a goal with the expectation that you're just going to go back to normal at the end of it.
Okay, I'm going to say, aside from extremes, the big 5 things you should ought to be avoiding, and drugs and alcohol is kind of one of them if you can't control it. That's a good example.
But there are 5 things.
Yeah, well,
you're better off making smaller, meaningful changes.
Yeah, okay, there's the 2
Permanent
reasons why I agree with you.
We're Americans. We don't like incrementality.
The 2 reasons...
We like swings.
First of all, it should be a 1 day at a time thing if it's that bad. That's just my opinion. If it's really that bad and I can't even get out of bed because I can't face a day, well, it's just 1 day at a time. And if it's really bad, it's look, just 1 hour at a time. I know the people who suffer from depression, they're just completely shut down. And people are like, oh, well, why can't you just... clean your room and take ownership of your life and just go on,
because depression is a lying liar that lies.
And it's because unlike getting
it always sounds good to me.
Physical disease that people can see and sympathize with, depression is one of those insidious things that people are like, well, just get your big boy pants and
Buck it up,
for,
buttercup,
right?
yeah.
Right. So, like, for the people who suffer this and say, oh, well, just 30 days change your attitudes, like, yeah, that ain't going to happen. It's too extreme. To me, I would be honest to see something like 1 hour at a time, or maybe even 1 minute at a time, because you're that screwed in the sense that you're in the pit of despair.
Yeah, if you want to make a meaningful change, you have to start small and work your way up. You have to develop habits. You can't just be, I'm going to trial run this. No, if you seriously want to change meaningfully, you start small and you build your way up.
Aside from extreme things like depression and alcohol and the other 4 things that are bad for people, I agree. So then the idea, though, that like, oh, I'm a healthy-ish person and I just want to do yoga for 30 days. It's a 30-day challenge. The problem I have with this, despite the fact that maybe you can develop a habit of yoga, but no, you already put an end cap to it.
Yeah.
Right? So you're not going to do something like a cultural change of your own habits. You're not going to be able to say something like, I'm changing not just my behavior, but my lifestyle now. I'm now going to be biking to work. Yeah, and this is not just something I'm going to do for fun. This is something I'm going to do for the rest of my goddamn life. That type of change is more impactful because it's damage over time or healing over time or whatever the way you want to look at it. Over time changes are way more compounding than a 30-day stint. And the issue I have with a 30-day challenge is that you're using your energy wrong. Like the energy depletion or ego depletion theory, is that you only have so many fucks to give in a day. Mm-hmm. And if you use your wrong fucks at the wrong time, then you wasted them. And you have to wait until the cooldown comes and they can use them again. And people with lupus, they consider this to be the spoon theory, but I like to call it the how many fucks can I give in a single day?
The field of fucks.
The field of fucks. And I only have a certain supply of them. And you know what? Like, if I get angry at someone, I have to really be careful about, like, do I give a fuck about this guy?
Am I going to waste my energy?
Am I going to waste my energy? Because, yes, I am. You really pissed me off. And then I'm, okay, give him 5 fucks. Fuck you. Okay, anyway. The idea, though, is that if you're going to spend energy like this, it is an ego depletion theory. People talk about time management as, like, I don't have enough time. Like, that's true-ish. It's really you don't have enough energy. Like, I don't have enough energy to both run a 5K and then also work around the house and also clean everything up and also make sure that I make the next 10 meals. The energy is a serious concern. And so they're spending this energy for just a 30-day stint, and that's it. No compounding effects. No idea of building it on top of something to something greater. Just to, roll the dice to see if they're going to pick something up, and that's it?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
Compared to them doing nothing, that even arbitrary time limit is worth at least trying.
I don't know.
Success or a fail, you should learn something from.
Well, even a success isn't necessarily meaningful unless they decide that at the end of that 30 days that they're just going to make that a habit and make it a part of their life.
Sure, and it's easy to say that as an outsider looking at somebody else's actions, but it's to them, it's a personal choice. That's why these 30-day challenges, whatever they may be, have a valid application for even if 1% of it actually works and changes. That's why there are 80 goddamn billion of them.
I feel like it's just like a...
If there's a 1% success rate, it's worth it being there.
No, I think it's just it's a diet fad. Like, people just want to make money off of it. They're like, oh, we're gonna do Whole30 and you can buy our Whole30 cookbooks. And
right.
Sure, there's money
and here's our challenge. Or, hey, this is my challenge to you. Subscribe and whatever to my channel, and I'll give you tips and stuff.
See, now you're going beyond it though. You're having this whole integration thing. Couch to 5K is free application.
Can be,
other
and so can
diets
Whole30
are
if you
free.
do it on your own. You don't have to spend money, but people will capitalize on it. They will, but like,
as they should. This is America. We're capitalistic, damn it.
Well, like Couch to 5K isn't. Sorry, but it's just not that. I'm not trying to minimize the accomplishment, because I feel like that's not what I'm trying to say here. Because you know what? If you run a 5K and you set that goal for yourself and you made it, that's awesome. I think that's great. You can set a goal and you made that goal. And I think if you can set a goal for 30 days and you make that goal and you ate well and you had the discipline to get through that, that is admittedly, good for you. That is something. I'm not saying it's nothing. I just think if you're expecting to make any meaningful change or find meaningful change, these 30-day challenges or these Couch to 5K, 30 days, whatever, 30 days of yoga, they're not going to do what you want them to do. They're not meaningful in that way.
I feel that it's kind of a gimmick, like you're saying, and there is kind of a certain industry behind it. Couch to 5K may try to sell more shoes or exercise equipment or whatever it is, right? Even though you technically don't need to do it, you can just go outside. But people are like, yeah, but I'd rather run in the comfort of the treadmill, or I want the latest gear. When I used to go golfing, I always found it humorous when people would be getting really expensive stuff like Callaway sets and the Callaway clothes and everything, right? And the little visor band. And they can't play. They just dress the part.
Look how adorable you are.
It's
I spent $7,000 on this, and I have a handicap of 32.
Right. It is adorable, right? But you can play with junk gear and have a good time. I think that the problem I have with this is very gimmicky. I'm not going to say that there's a conspiracy that like people are trying to push it so that people buy more merchandise or gear that they don't need and then just throw it away because it's a consumerist society. But I don't like the argument that I could say like, oh, it's good because it's kind of like R&D. You're rolling the dice. You don't know what you want yet. You don't know what you like. So why don't you try all these things? And as an older person, I'm like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do in your 20s. Like you're supposed to see what you like and dislike, so that when you're in your 30s and older, you're like, you can say comfortably, I don't like it, so go screw yourself. I don't want to go skydiving because I have no interest in it, and I don't even care if I never do it in my life because I know what I like and I know what I don't like, and I'm comfortable with that. And so the idea that people are rolling the dice and trying to figure out what they want to do, and they do these 30-day challenges to find out, I find it to be incredibly ineffective. Like if you want to know if you like it, if you want to know if it's for you, either you figure that out in a couple days or you figure out a long-term plan to see if you can make that into your lifestyle. But 30 days doesn't seem to fit either of those categories. It seems like a 30 days waste of time.
Yeah, it's a weird distribution of your energy, a weird use of your energy.
And unless it's like, oh, I want to exercise my discipline, it's like, well, then why don't you go exercise your discipline as something you should be aiming for your own goals?
Because they went through the American education system and they need a structure to tell them what to do because individual accomplishments are downgraded in this goddamn country.
Yeah.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, Phil.
I'm
Come
not
on.
trying to minimize people's accomplishments because, like, again, if you're setting a goal and you have a specific goal in mind, and at the end of this 30 days or whatever arbitrary time you want to stamp on it, you do X or Y or Z, then that is an accomplishment. I'm not trying to minimize that. What I guess I'm saying is it's worthless if you're expecting meaningful change out of a 30-day challenge.
Yeah.
But isn't that just a percentage thing anyway? It might work for 10% of the people that they have a meaningful change. And even if people accomplish it and go back, is it a diminished month of their life? The fact that they did that discipline. I guess I just don't understand the mentality
of like, oh, I'm just going to do it for 30 days to just try it out. But then I'm going to go back to normal and do like whatever I was doing before. So...
No, I did it with sodomy and it was fine.
I don't understand that mentality, I guess. It's like you're trying it out, but why are you giving yourself a 30-day time limit? Why not just try it until you can't anymore? Or just decide one day, maybe this is just me, but like just decide, okay, I would like to eat healthier. What can I do to eat healthier? Okay, Whole30 has a good concept to it. Let's just try to eat Whole30, but not Whole30 for 30 days. Let's just do that. Let's just make that a habit. And then
because that first time you go to McDonald's, you're already done. Because you don't have that goal set in mind of, I need to do 30 days and to see what happens.
But it isn't
removing that
like,
structure and just being like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to have a dry January. And on January 3rd, I drink a beer. Fuck the rest of the month. I already broke it, you know? There's no reprieve from that.
But that's stupid, because people make mistakes and people fail all the time. The point isn't to be like, well, I failed once. I guess that wasn't worth my time.
Where are the teeth?
You fail once and you get back up on that fucking horse.
But where are the teeth?
That's what you should be teaching your fucking children.
If you're not going in through a program.
All right. Okay. So my thought here too is that I don't think that the success rate is as high as you think, Sarah. And that's because my circle
of people are terrible.
Of people that I'm around do not have a success rate of accomplishing their goals in a timely manner. And I'm not trying to disparage them. I'm just saying that life gets in the way. It's difficult to get your goals done and when you want them to. All right. That being said, I don't like the idea that you do these 30 days and then you look at this like research and development time to be like, okay, where am I now? Did I really like this? Oh, no, I guess not. Okay, I'm done. Because a lot of these benefits don't show up until maybe 60 or 90 or 180 days later.
Yeah, like half a year to a year.
One of them would be weightlifting. Like you're not going to see that much drastic evidence of like, oh, I look better or feel better in 30 days.
Yeah.
Unless you're really a Marvel movie studio executive that wants to get their actor buffed quickly, but that's very different.
I would say, like, if you decide to go dry, like, you might see results in 30 days. But if you're thinking of dieting to lose weight, you're not going to you'll see some results in like the first couple of weeks because you're making an extreme change on your body. Your body's going to react in an extreme way. But after it gets used to that, after like week 2, your progress is going to stymie for a good long while it starts getting used to the change in caloric intake and output. You need a full year before you're going to start seeing real results, at least.
In a healthy way.
In a healthy way, like in a meaningful
crash diets, they work if you don't care about your health.
Yeah, you can just you can drink soda and eat chips and just make sure you're only hitting like 600 calories a day, and you will lose weight, but it's not healthy, and you're going to lose out on a lot of vitamins, minerals, and you will gain that weight back right away. Because your body's in starvation.
I'm on like week 4 and I've only lost 3 teeth, so I think I'm doing pretty well.
Only.
Well done.
They're all like back molars too. I mean, those don't matter.
They don't. You don't need those.
I have one real back that's supposed to be a wisdom tooth, and that does all my grinding. It's fine.
The other issue with the 30 days is that for me, I'm not sure if it's for most other people, if I break the streak, I'll, screw it, I don't care anymore. I think the 30-day challenge is kind of built in the name. For 30 days, just really use your motivation. They didn't even mention discipline because that's what really kind of matters.
It is.
Well, you don't want to say the D word when it comes to challenges because nobody likes to think about discipline.
Well, it's like, I think like the people who complete this, they have the discipline to complete 30 days. Discipline will get you to habit, but you need to make it to habit if you want meaningful change.
That's what's killing me. It's killing me that, like, for me, I don't have discipline to do something for 30 days. I've tried learning French many times over again. And again, like, I'm a very streak person. If I don't do it, then I'm just going to give it up and then try it again. It's just very pointless because it's, again, a something over time equation. You can't just be streaky about it. That's really kind of
you almost got to be spiteful about it. Like, I'm going to do this.
Right, because someone said I couldn't. But the issue I have is, what if I had enough discipline to do it and then I just give it up when I actually have the habit to continue? That kills me because it's like I don't have that internally. And to see people to be like, oh, I can do this for 30 days. I can pick it up and I can develop the habit. And I'm bored with not even bored with it. I'm just going to go to the next fad. It's like, but you're right there. You're right there to do.
But that isn't popular. How am I going to get Instagram followers?
Oh, that burns me.
I don't know. It drives me a little nuts, I guess, is what I'm saying. Is just, again, not trying to minimize accomplishments because well done if you met your goal. Good job. But if you do that once and you decide it's not for you, that's one thing. But if you do it intermittently, like, I guess I don't understand that. I don't get I'm going to just try it, I'm going to just try this couch to 5K and, I'm going to run that 5K and then I'm going to be done. And then, I kind of had fun doing that 5K. I'm going to do that again. I'm just going to run a 5K. And I'm just like, okay, well, if you had fun, why don't you just like make this like a thing? Why don't you just...
Because people might, and that's why 30-day challenges should be fun.
I
do.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what else deserves a good 30-day challenge?
Why not like up the ante? Like, let's go for a 10K now. Like, let's do a 15K. Right. Like, do you enjoy running? Are you into running? Like, okay, you've had your 5K. Do you like it? No? Or do you want to keep doing 5Ks? Great, that's fine. Like, you do you, but then keep the habit. Don't just be like, and I did it. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna just close that chapter on my life and move on and go back to my unhealthy habits.
Certainly seems like you're diminishing an accomplishment right there.
What?
It certainly seems like you're diminishing accomplishment right there.
I mean, if you just want like the one 5K on your belt, like that's fine, I guess. If you're expecting it to like somehow be like this life-changing habit you're developing, it's not.
Well, okay, I think the couch to 5K analogy that I try to bridge is because I don't think that's just a couch to 5K and you're done. Like, I do think it's supposed to be like a gateway to continuously use this as a hobby.
And I think that's what like the 30-day challenges are kind of for. I don't know if the dry January is really like that. I think that's just that's just
social media bullshit. That's
what?
all that is. That's social media bullshit.
Yeah, I think that's the stupidest thing. At least with diet changes or exercise changes, the 30 days like gives you an opportunity to try and make that a meaningful habit, maybe. I don't know. I still don't like this end cap of 30 days. I just don't think it's good enough.
You know something we can all agree on as a meaningful habit we should all engage in more? American democracy.
Oh, God. Why are you like this? But no, I actually agree with you.
I did not see this coming.
Could we, you know what we should do? We should have a 30-day challenge of just watch the news. Just watch the news for 30 days.
Active civil participation.
Civil participation for 30 days. Just a month. Just a month of you have to be in the know on what's going on in government.
How did my non sequitur not end this yet?
Sorry. Not sorry. I just wish my brother was more involved with politics, is what I'm really saying.
So that's why you're angry at Whole 30. It's because your brother's a Republican.
He's not. He's like, he just doesn't care because he's white male. He's a white male who can afford to not care.
Republican.
Yeah, that's
all of that's Republican. I don't know what else you're trying to explain.
That's not Republican. Why do you hate Republicans so much?
Well, because
I know why you hate Republicans so much, but don't just start calling people Republicans as if that's a slur.
Hey, if that's a valid insult for them to change their ways, damn it,
I feel
I'll
like
call everyone
we've gone
Republican.
way off. What happened to that non sequitur?
It was supposed to end 3 minutes ago. That is the point.
I'm gonna take the beat. I can't let it go. So the reason you son of a bitch. So the reason why I tell people that don't care about the news, and I really wish there was a 30-day challenge to be educated, listen to BBC, are somewhat less biased than the news we have here.
Slightly
yes, a governmental news agency is less biased.
A governmental agency that's not us is less biased.
That's what I mean. They're independent of the United States government.
Yeah, they're outside of our realm.
Al Jazeera, give me the island.
Maybe. Anyway.
Yeah, but that's too many foreign words in there, right? So my thought, though, is that for people who just don't care about politics because it doesn't bother them, it just screams to me that ignorance is privilege.
Yep.
Well, don't you care about the trans rights or gay rights or the fact that I don't really care, it doesn't bother me.
Don't you care that people are starving right now because they are afraid they're going to get evicted and they have to choose between rent and food and all those fun things?
Fuck you, I got mine.
Yeah.
It's it doesn't bother me because I don't care until they're like, I lost my job and I don't have health insurance and I need it.
What
and
am I
have
gonna
type
do?
1 diabetes. What am I going to do? Won't somebody think about me? Now you fucking care.
Yeah.
Because ignorance is privilege, you son of a bitch.
Yep.
Right?
And when you have privilege, inconvenience is oppression.
But do you think a 30-day challenge for politics, listening to BBC, would have any meaningful change?
Well,
a 30-day integration would be great. Okay. People from Dubuque, Montana, just go to Compton for a month and just see what happens.
It would be nice if they did a 30-day BBC challenge, and I'm invalidating everything.
You would have to do this you'd have to do this with a group of people. You can't just do this on your own. You have to do this with at least one other person
and a moderator.
Well, it would be nice to have a moderator, but let's be honest. We'll just people might do this as couples or something, or besties or something. I don't know. But they would have at least one other person that they have to talk about what they heard on the news. They have to discuss it.
It would be really nice.
Once a day.
I'm going to break the moratorium here and say that
that's been out the window for 8 months, man.
I know, but I'm gonna break it. When Nancy Pelosi said that she wanted to release a bigger stimulus package, and then she had sent a bill to Mitch McConnell at that time. He was the Senate Majority Leader, not anymore. Anyway, he decided he declined it. He said, "No, this isn't a good use of our resources." And the news, something and I shit you not, 35% of the Americans blamed Nancy Pelosi for not doing enough.
Because 35% of Americans watch Fox News.
Because Nancy Pelosi is not passing it in the Senate. That's their explanation, right? Or something like this. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, but she's not in the Senate. She's Speaker of the House. Yeah. She's a House Congresswoman, right?
She has that's not her jurisdiction.
Her jurisdiction ends in the lower house, right? So she did
only do what she did.
Yeah, and she did everything she could, but you still have 35% of the population that's it's her fault.
That's because she's a woman, let's be honest.
But
true. But Donald Trump still has a 26% approval rating now.
How?
Why?
So I want people to do the BBC challenge and invalidate everything I just said, because you can't even get your fucking facts straight.
So
you don't know how the system even works, and yet you complain. It's like those people who have those signs that say, "Get your government hands off my Medicare." It's good God. Your complaints don't even make sense. You don't have a reality model about how the system works, even as of today, and it directly affects you.
Thank you for listening to our bonus half episode.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but hey guys, do you want to do a 30-day BBC challenge?
Yeah, I think you're right.
That is what I do. That is just me as a person.
Okay, we're doing it.
God, what am I eating?
You know most of the people I know. They don't watch the news.
Okay, by Valentine's Day, we're going to talk about our 30 days of challenge. And every day, I want to hear our BBC tweet from you guys. And
oh God, I have to follow the BBC now?
A tweet? Can we just text each other? Okay.
Well, okay, fine. A communique that of what you heard from the BBC.
Oh God! What have I done? What have I signed myself up for?
I am going to.
I'm being totally antithetical to my premise.
That 30-day challenge.
That's how you know it's sham the entire time.
We're going to judge a 30-day challenge based off February 14th.
I regret everything.
Was this worth it or not?
I regret everything. All right. Well, you know what?
We'll
talk about this 30-day challenge thing for BBC, and
listeners, we will let you know how it goes.
Yeah, we'll get back to you on that one. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.